Okay, thank you very much once again, and let's hope I've got the right presentation this time. It's not so much a presentation as three examples of how the technology that I was trying to describe this morning can help in a practical sense and has done so for end customers in the UK and Ireland. Okay. So we're looking at the more social aspects to start with and understanding how they can feed into further ideas about how to remediate and how to move forward with information management lifecycle. Okay, so we can, as I've said, do a number of things which sound pretty normal actually. Identifying data owners, well, we can all do that, can't we? I've heard a lot of talk of metadata today. It can be extremely useful, but it can also be extremely misleading, as we've mentioned. Anybody who knows who administrator is or root is will know that at various times throughout the life cycle of information, which actually, let's be honest, for most people is ad infinitum, the original owner becomes fairly irrelevant in terms of what is recorded for that digital file. So, for instance, I will absolutely know, and this is no criticism of the Honda manufacturing arm of Honda Motor Company, who I used to work for, they will still have files that have my name on them. That's just the way it is. And I no longer work there, and nor do they have my phone number, thank goodness. They did once upon a time. There's a very interesting story that over a pint about that. But point being is that users, it doesn't really matter. Our technology allows us to infer data owners based on behaviour associated with the information of that file. So over a space of time, we can audit on that file and find out, based on rules which you set for your organisation, you can set whether to infer ownership based on read and write access, last access, a bunch of things that we've got highlighted in the red box over there, and we can decide how to assign usage rights based on that inferred ownership. Nobody else provides that level of understanding, and we do that because all of our technologies, whether they're backup technologies or they're archiving technologies or they're data delivery technologies, they talk to each other about the information that people are using. Okay, now we can either do that on a cloud-based service, or we can do it via a fairly easy to deploy on-premise virtual solution. It's effectively a software appliance. That makes it very easy to deploy, very easy to implement and get started. So once you're starting to understand exactly how you want people to be decided as being owners, as being users of information, then you can start to make more intelligent decisions. An example based on that is that we could track activity for an audit investigation, something that sadly is all too pertinent at the moment. But we could decide to investigate somebody, and in this fairly static example, we could identify a lovely chap called Archie Andrews. I'm sure he's a very nice chap, but he has decided to access patent logs, and we can identify whether it's a good idea that he's done that or not. So we can look up who he is in the organisation. We can also spot his pattern of usage over time. So there's a mix of ways of doing that. There's an easy to identify colour-coded version of access there, whether he's read, whether he's written, whether he's passed on information. And then there's much more detailed information which you can drill into about individual files from the patent file share that he's been accessing. Should he be accessing a particular file? Is it the case that actually he's done that by accident, and really as an organisation, as an IT department, or as a an organisation that has obligations under regulatory requirements, should we have set things up that way? We can take those ideas and then describe policies that we want to assign based on the pattern of activity that we either have identified and we didn't know existed, or we think should have existed from the first place, in the first place, and we know that we've got to retrospectively apply it to those people. So we can cut that several ways. The first way of doing that is from a data loss prevention perspective. Very easy to do because the monitoring, the reporting discovery layer feeds into DLP, and we can assign those policies directly from the report if the people using the report based on the discovery layer have got the access to do that. If not, they can pass that on via a workflow to somebody else. And we can take a look further. I mean, we saw this one earlier today. We can take a look to discover Archie, for instance, or somebody else from that social network map that you saw this morning. It's very easy if we know if we know we're investigating a certain group of users. And do I have a 1 minute? I really only have 1 minute. Okay. So we'll go past data loss prevention then, and we'll take that as read, and we'll go straight in to. That's still not the right presentation as it happens. No, it's still not. I've no idea why. We can adopt the same principle though for archiving, okay? So we can take a look at the way that information, exactly the same way as we did for the DLP integration. We can integrate with our archiving technology, Enterprise Vault, in order to take usage based on time, assign policy to it, and drive out archiving at the far end, so that we're storing the right information for the right amount of time in the right way. I think I've probably got about 10 seconds left, which is enough to say thank you very much, and sorry for yet another misuse of information.